If you're not building these lists up, you are doing long-term harm to your business by not doing this early on. How to future-proof your music education business for long-term sustainability and predictable growth in one easy step. And this is a step that most people don't pay attention to because they think it's too hard, they think it's going to take a long time. It's building out your lists. The list of, you've got potential buyers, so you've got lists of people who are interested in buying your stuff, which are like people who just inquire but then don't result in a customer. In COVID, we had like people losing 70% of their customers and had people just suddenly overnight having to restructure their entire businesses. A list of potential buyers just makes you that much more prepared for when something goes wrong. If you have a list of potential buyers just written down somewhere on your computer, that's not dependent on things like software. It's not dependent on things like Google advertising, on your YouTube channel. Like your YouTube channel might just get banned someday, or your Instagram account might get banned as well. You might just lose access to it or something. And having a list of potential buyers is huge because it gives you so much more leverage and protection for future-proofing your business. And it's an asset to your business. So when you hear about people like Facebook, when they bought Instagram, they're not just buying Instagram, they're buying the database of users. And secondly, it's building your own leverage. Okay, so let's compare one music school, one piano school, right? And their entire method of bringing in new customers is just waiting for word of mouth. So they wait for their customers to talk about them to their friends and stuff. And they get 1 or 2 inquiries per month. And then you've got the other music school over here, and they have a Facebook group with 4,000 people. And they've got an email list with 10,000 people. And they got like a YouTube channel which gets like 10,000 views every session, every video. Who do you think is going to have an easier time bringing customers into their business? And you might think, oh my God, I can never make a 10,000 person email list or a 4,000 people Facebook group. And I'm not saying that you need those numbers. You don't need very many to have leverage. You only need 100. If you don't have leverage, you're always going to be like struggling month after month, wondering where the hell is the next customer coming from. Now, what can you actually do with the list that you have? Why is it important? Because I hear all the time basically about how people don't have any way of following up with a new inquiry. They get an inquiry, 2 or 3 inquiries in a month, and they say, I call them, I email them, but nobody picks up the phone, nobody responds to my emails, just a time waster. There are ways to make people more likely to pick up the phone later. Not everybody is ready to buy straight away, right? Most people are not. With anything, with any industry, it's not special to music education. The entire marketing process is pretty much based around the long term rather than the short term, right? Basically, the best results that you'll get from marketing is things like 6 to 12 months down the road, or even longer. But most small businesses kind of panic and they're always just looking at the next month because they've got a race to keep ahead so they don't go bankrupt or whatever. But that's not really the way they need to be looking at things. So what can you do when you've got these lists? You can build awareness. So let's say those 3 inquiries that you've got and none of them are picking up the phone, none of them are replying to your email. What you can do is you can start putting them on your email list. And that way you just forget about them and you just start firing out an email whenever you want on your email list and just start building up that touch point, and they'll start to get to know you a little bit and be like, hey, here's something cool that we did with our student. This is the comparison video. They were playing this 6 weeks ago and now they're playing this. You can do like really cool things to build up this trust between people who are not yet ready to take their lessons. And so you're building up a bit of trust, a bit of rapport, but you don't need to do it like personally with every single person, because you can build up a list of 10,000 people and just send them out all the same email, right? Some of those people, it's going to resonate harder than other people, and that's fine. But if you're not doing it, then you're never going to build up that rapport or trust with these people. And when you have these lists, you have places where you can remarket to the same people. They've already shown interest, right? So they're the easiest possible people to build up that trust with. There's no point in just trying to go after cold all the time, because it's a lot more effort than it needs to be. Yes, you need some cold, initially, people to get into your ecosystem, but when you build up these lists of people where you can keep the conversation going, basically. Yes, it might be a one-sided conversation for a long time, like you're firing out your email newsletter or your YouTube channel, firing out these videos. But what you're doing is you're building trust, awareness, rapport. They'll start to like you, they'll start to get to know you, and you won't suddenly be, oh, that's that random company. It'll be like, oh, that's Liam Price, or oh, that's John Smith, or whatever. There'll be that personal touch to it, okay? So if you're not doing this, it's huge. You really need to start building up lists, and it's not as hard as you think. Now, what lists are they? What lists do we have? We've got phone number lists, okay? So lists of phone numbers are pretty big, right? Why is that big? I'm not saying go out and start calling everybody. A lot of people do this. They'll have a team, they'll have their staff members, and they have a phone number list, and they'll just start calling down the list every day. And so they're just trying to get people on a conversation and book them into a class or something. But of course, on a phone number, you can also send out texts, right? So texts are pretty huge. It's the same as email, really. Like, you can send out a blast text to everybody. Obviously, you want to be careful not to spam people. It's got to be something interesting, something useful. But again, you have that leverage. If you have a special offer, a special promotion going on, you suddenly need an extra 5 students, but you've got 100 phone numbers, send out 1 text, and you might get 2 of your students that you need. Okay, email, the same thing. So if you've got your email list, your phone number list, these are the 2 major ones, especially email, but these are the 2 major ones that you control more than any other, because they're not dependent upon any of the kind of software or platform that you can be deleted from, basically. Next one is Facebook contacts, so your friends list. So basically, you got your Facebook profile, you can add people in groups, you can add up to something like 5,000 people on your personal profile and start adding those people, and then just start, anytime you have a special offer, a special promotion, same thing as with the text. Not all of them are going to see it, but that's the kind of theory. Now, obviously, it's a little bit less secure, as Facebook might suddenly disappear tomorrow, but that's why people hold on to email lists and phone number lists, because they're like, you can't get those taken off you. So again, something similar is LinkedIn contacts, or any kind of platform like LinkedIn or Facebook, like Instagram, all these kind of things, like your contact list, right? Your friends lists. Then you got groups on these platforms, so Facebook groups, LinkedIn groups, and so you can create a nice sort of unique group for your particular niche that is going to be interesting. And so you've got that kind of warmth where you can build that trust and rapport with people. YouTube channel, like, this is probably one of my least favorites, because it's quite hard to control, because you don't know who's watching you specifically. So you get subscribers, but you can't really see much about them, and you can target ads to your subscribers and things like that. But if we're just purely talking about lists of, like, organic lists that you can hold on to and then remarket to, YouTube's probably my least favorite one, but it is still very valid, and it's something that is worth doing. Although I would say it's worth doing, like, maybe a year after you're already in a solid position with your school, and you've got that time to dedicate, like, 4 or 5 hours a week to it, where you can create 2 videos a week and make it look cool and interesting. Because it takes a long time, YouTube, to grow those followers naturally. When you've got like 100 people in your group, it's, oh, this is a fringe thing. When you've got 1,000 people, it's, oh, maybe this is a legit thing. And so your recognition of that authority actually grows, and so your word of mouth actually starts extending there again. So I know I sometimes put down word of mouth as a good way of marketing. It is only a bad thing if you're overly reliant upon it. It's actually pretty good when it's magnified by other methods. So if you haven't ever thought about building a list yet, and you're just like looking at it and, hey, this is not for me, or this is for other people only, or I'm not at that stage yet, or whatever the reason might be, it just seems overly complex. Trust me, you're totally in the right place right now. You don't need to start with a massive thousands person email list. You can start with just 10, 20. It will build from there. If you're not building these lists up, you are doing long-term harm to your business by not doing this early on. So things like flyers, flyer drops, billboards, all this kind of stuff is wasted money, because and radio ads and TV ads, none of those things collect lists. But if you've got some kind of ad out there where they see your ad, they put in their email, they don't react, but you can keep talking to them via email, the chances are then eventually 6 months down the line, they might say, you know what, I feel good about these guys. I'm going to go and check out their lessons. You can't do that with anything that isn't collecting lists. So really you want to focus on list building, marketing activities, whether that be a Facebook group, email list, phone numbers, whatever it is. If you're not building out your list, you've got to start building it out from today. But you don't really need to start with many, just start with one person on your email list, build it up. Every time you get an email inquiry, add it onto your email list. You have to start doing it manually for a little bit before you start running advertising to grow your email list. It all adds up. So in a month or two, you might have 100 people on there. But you got to start from somewhere.